Many of them are not real, Luxart. More experiments. Let's call them experiments.
I have a slug now.
Oh, nice.
My pet eats these creatures for some reason. I think it is disgusting.
So we're working on something here. Let me show you what's going on. Working on the tool to import the avatars in. This is really rough, but we're going to have a preview of the avatar here. And you'll be able to choose from the drop down to play any of the animations available from the drop down. And then this here is going to represent, we're going to theme it all, make it look better, but this is going to represent the order that all of the elements of the avatar are drawn in. So when you import as an artist, this will probably end up being its own separate tool. But you'll be able to, without even technically owning this application, you'll be able to experiment with your artwork so that when you go to sell it to people that have this, you can package it in a way where they can easily import it in.
I got another slug.
Nice.
I believe there's other things like strawberries.
So this will ultimately, this tab for the streamer will ultimately essentially just be a tool for importing more avatars. And then there'll be a list of them here that they can configure how they want them to be. That's what's going on. How are you doing? Awesome.
Oh my, I got a candy.
I'm going to
You can use those candies at the candy shop. In the microwave, you can make your pet a cookie. No. I remember a lot of things about this.
making a model for my project. Nice. This Thursday, let me do a shout out. Sweetie, I really can't hear you. What, sweetie?
Is the doggo cam on?
Yeah, it's showing you right now.
Okay. Come on, mouse.
Gonna do a shout out to Devro. And tomorrow, Dev is going to be hopefully teaching me Blender.
Ooh, I got my pet a bone. Hey, Calvin, how do you like that? I got my pet a bone. Wow. How did I look over it? Like it's wagging its tail, waiting to run some more. Because it likes running. Like you, Cal.
If you got anything to share, you can throw it in the Discord in the share section, or you can just throw a link in here. I'll check it out.
You can sure run a lot, pet. Time to get the last. I got another candy. It's good to get your pet candies. I also like to get slugs. Ooh, another egg.
Poo. Poo. We're making, dude, Poo. Let me show you what's going on really quick, and then I'm gonna get back to the code. So we've got this section here. It's all drawn wrong, so pay no attention to that.
I got soap.
Okay, sweetie, I do need to. I gotta work. You got soap?
Yes, my pet eats all of these gross things.
Do you want to sit on the stool next to me?
Sure.
Okay. I do need you to keep it down a bit, okay? Okay?
Okay. I might need to put some of my things on the desk, because I won't be wanting to walk all the way.
My daughter's gonna come up here with me. I think she wants to be part of the stream. But anyways.
I like this. The last thing.
Oh no, the back pain. So yeah, over here we're gonna have animations that we can fire off for the avatar. And then we'll be able to change the draw order of the avatar's elements here. So the arm and all that stuff, we're going to have this be a draggable list that we can reorganize.
I got another bone.
Nice. Let me point the camera at you over here. There you are.
What that? Crank the crank. Gotta crank the crank and let my pet run. This is my pet's exercise wheel, practically. My pet loves to exercise in his wheel.
Oof, this feels like a disaster waiting to happen.
Hey, got another slug. I love collecting slugs.
She's playing a Switch game. It's a Nintendo Labo.
Mama,
Let me show you.
my
So these are cool. I think these are really cool STEM activities.
there's great things
But
to work on. There's more.
There's a infrared. The Wiimote, the Switch remote is in here, and there's IR blaster on the remote, and then there's a reflective tape on it, so it can tell the direction that you're rotating the thing at. And then this over here also has like different things. Yeah, it's super cool. It's really cool. I prefer that kind of STEM stuff that makes it cool and fun than the boring kind that is normally called STEM. If it's not called STEM, but it's STEM, then it's fun. But the minute they put the label on it, it's usually boring. I'm still pissed. I got some National Geographic thing. It's labeled STEM. Got it for my daughter. Has all these experiments in it. And the literal explanation for what's happening.
I think Aunt Sarah got that.
Oh yeah, my sister got it for her. But the explanations of what's happening literally has the explanation of it's magic.
His sister who used to dunk him under the water.
And it got me so mad. Yeah, my sister, yes, yeah. My sister used to dunk me out of the underwater. It's true.
Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten a strawberry for so long.
Okay, we're getting close to a really funny question for Double Dare that I think
Sooner or later.
Devra's gonna find really funny.
Sooner or later.
If he gets, he'll get it right, but I don't know how quick he'll get it right.
Of candies and stuff.
Hey Matt, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go try and figure out how to order through them. You still want that larger Amazon brand laminator, right?
That's what I'm saying is for the price right now, there's some that are probably better.
Oh, so I'll wait and you can look.
Yeah, I mean, if you can send me the link again.
Okay. I'll at least look on there and try to just figure out how it works.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Uh,
Here we go. Double Dare. Question of the day. Answer the question correctly. Get a point added to your score. If you aren't on the board already, your name will be added with your first point.
I got a mushroom.
It's math time. If you, this one's going to require some Googling, I think. Get ready. If you multiplied the number of castaways on Gilligan's Island by the number of Brady Bunch kids, how many TV characters would you have? Once again,
I have no idea.
if you multiplied the number of castaways on Gilligan's Island by the number of Brady Bunch kids, how many TV characters would you have?
Hey, I just got an acorn.
This might take a while.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hmm?
The sound is calculating to my Switch. Papa. Stop it, please. Run, kid, run, run, run. Oh, you're gonna get tired. Please don't get tired.
I like that there's no answer yet. This is great. It's like Google. Okay, how many castaways? Okay, now how many Brady Bunch? Okay, now. On the Brady Bunch. See,
Hey, I got another mushroom.
Pooh is cultured, so Pooh doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Yes, 6 kids. If you were to multiply the number of castaways from Gilligan's Island by the number of kids in the Brady Bunch, how many TV characters would you have? $42 is correct. Miss Cricket sweeps in, stealing the answer away from Pooh. All right, Pooh. Pooh's still secure in first place, but first place is being heavily challenged for Pooh. I said the reason why Pooh didn't know how to get to the answer quick enough is that he's cultured. Where's Miss Cricket? She's not even on the board, is she? Oh, she's got 2 points now.
Look at my pet. Look at this water. Look at my poor pet
Mm?
in the water. No, I do not like that game.
I know you had to do a bunch of Googling. You're like, I don't even know how to spell this stuff. Got a lot going on in the game. You know what I just realized? Hang on. Let's try this. Let's try and see if it's good enough. We're gonna go to Bing. And how do we do chats?
Ooh, I get a little pickle.
Chat. Here we go. Let's ask the AI, okay? If you were to multiply the number of castaways in Gilligan's
This is the way I don't know.
Island by the number of kids in the Brady Bunch, how many TV characters
Well,
would
I
you
aced it.
have?
I got an ace. I ace.
The number of castaways in Gilligan's Island is 7. The number of kids in the Brady Bunch is 6. Multiplying these two numbers, we get 42. Therefore, if you multiply the number of castaways in Gilligan's Island by the number of kids in the Brady Bunch, you'd have 42 TV characters. So we can we now, I don't know how teachers are going to teach anymore in school. Not that this is something that teachers should be teaching in
Oh,
school.
I got broccoli. How healthy for my little pet.
Ah, delicious broccoli for the pet.
I love broccoli, especially if it's cooked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for Gilligan's Island, and I'm a big fan of what's her name, Ginger? Is that her name in the show? Marianne. That would be my jam.
Hey, that rhymes, I think.
A lot of those TV ladies I'm a big fan of. Let's see.
Hey, got a little penny.
Marianne. I don't know. Who's the movie star? Tina Louise. Ooh, I don't know. This would be a tough one. My tastes changed as I age. So we'll have to see.
I got a fish. I love collecting different types of things. Another little jelly bean. I keep getting jelly beans. I wonder why. Alright, who copied the Comic Babysitters Club?
All right. Sorry for the mouth noises. We're back.
Oh. Oh my. Oh no.
All right. So we actually want this Node 2D to create and spawn an avatar. So, and we want it to be in complete control of the avatar. So we're going to use our, can we just add it to the sub viewport? It looks like we can. Can we just add the avatar to the sub viewport? Probably. We'll need some constraints for where it can, well, we,
Ooh,
Okay.
Yes, I got cheese. I haven't gotten that yet. Yes. Sorry.
How rude.
Oh, speaking of which. Yes.
So expand, but we're not going to fill.
I got soap again. Hold it. Things are falling apart.
Okay. So we need to get the window to be more this size. 1280 by 720 is what we're currently at. I feel so bad for my neighbor's dog. She's cooped up all the time. Let's look at the I guess we could dynamically set this up. I mean, let's open up just like a Windows program. I don't know. Let's do VS Code. See, the thing is they contain it in the window. We don't want that. It needs to be its own
I
thing.
got an acorn again.
But if I went to preferences, it would just be inside here. We're not doing that. But for instance, if I open up project settings, we do open up our own little window.
I got broccoli. How healthy.
Broccoli. Let's see how big we are here roughly.
And I got a mushroom. Would you want to feed a pet that changes color a mushroom?
I don't know. Mushrooms, you got to be careful with mushrooms in general. Wild mushrooms. For sure. But I'd be careful about feeding that to an animal if I didn't know. Could you give me some info about the picture? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is not helpful at all. Copy. I just want the dimensions. Come on, Windows. This is not a problem on Mac. Gimme. Okay, let's do a screenshot of the... No, not the whole thing. Just the window. There we go. Okay, copy, save, into screenshots. Okay, and then we'll open it up. Screenshots. info. Here we go. 902 by 731. So we're presuming it's probably what 728 by 900 or something. So 730 by 900 seems a reasonable size. Let's set ours up that way. So we'll go over to the code that opens it up, which I think is in Singleton Game. And we create.
Hey, I got 2 awards in one shot
Nice.
somehow. And shoot the cannon.
And we just instantiate there. So that's coming from settings here. And our window size. So we could go 900 by 730.
Yum. Yum. So,
Save that. Let's open it up. Seems good. It's doable. All right, we'll keep that. I'm going to use the restroom. In the meantime, enjoy my daughter playing the Switch. You can show them what you're doing right there, sweetie, okay?
okay.
I've got to walk away, though. Let me see if I can point the camera at you as I'm gone. I'll put the mic over here for you. Ah!
How did that happen? It's basically a shooting game. It's how my character. Okay, so all I have left is the soccer pattern thing.
Okay, she can read chat. Okay, she knows how to read. Let's be cool. I'll be back. We got Pooh here to moderate in case something goes wrong. Okay.
Hi, Mama. Okay. Oh, Calvin. Wait a minute. This is very confusing. I'm on the camera and the doggo cam? Well, I've got this oven here on my game, but I don't really like to bake my things. So I'm trying to fill my pet's house with candy. Oh, now I've got an ocean game that I don't really like. No, I don't want that. No, I don't like this one. Now I'm just in my pet's house. Ooh, I like pet bowling. Look, I'm pet bowling. I'm bouldering my pet. Get ready. Go! Crash! One bowling pin left. Ooh, I got a mushroom. Oh, I only got 3 pins. Oh, but I got a white jelly bean. Yum. Murph. Ooh, I only had 1 bowling pin left. I got a slug! You'll never believe what slugs can do when they're in the water. They just stay in their shell and don't even move. Oh, bowling pin. Ooh, red jelly bean. Oh, crash. Fool! I got a candy. I went full. I got all the pins knocked down.
Okay. All right.
I've never gotten a fool before, I don't think. No. Smash! Only 1 bowling pin gone.
Let's see if I can get us both in the shot. Maybe if I move this. Yeah.
Somebody redeemed Ride of Your Life.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
It's just plays a sound.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, you didn't have the headphones on. I demand a streamer switch. Let's see. Well, we could put her over here. Might disconnect the
Smash.
video.
Ooh, I got soap. I don't like making soap cupcakes. That's why I don't really want to make the cupcake. Ooh, I got some more cheese. I love getting cheese. Isn't that funny? A bowling pin knocked down another one, and I got a mushroom for that. Ooh, blue jelly bean. I got almost a full.
Okay. There you are. Thanks for taking good care of her.
a little low. Let's turn it up.
She's answering questions. Yeah, she's seen Papa do it.
An orange jelly bean. Hello. Say hello to my eye.
Okay. So we'll work on getting the avatar to show up in the scene. So avatar preview is what we care about. Okay, so for avatar preview, we want to also preload avatar. Just like we do here.
I got a candy. Oh.
Okay. Then we spawn the avatar. So let's look at, we're going to split this up. Let's get the game code over here when we instantiate an avatar. So we create, we give it a user ID, display name, chat message color. So none of that stuff is really important.
Cheese. Yummy cheese. I got an egg.
We're going to have to figure those commands out. So that's something that we've got to figure out. It should totally be possible. But we've got to figure out a good hierarchy of like, how is this going to work? So, but it'll be in a command for sure. And then I think we're going to set it up so that the avatar, if they want, can give access to like specific looks and stuff to people if they want them to have it, or they can like assign a look to screen name. And the real question for me is, do we mix and match like appendages and stuff? Is it the entire avatar changes, or do we allow for you to have a different chest? Like, that's the stuff I'm not 100% sure on. Yeah, to start with, only the avatars the streamer has in their database. But a lot of people have mentioned they instantly think of, wouldn't it be cool if I could carry my avatar to different streamers and stuff? So that creates a lot of problems with moderation and stuff, and where are they going to grab that information from, that kind of thing. So that's a future. That's if we're successful. We'll start working on something like that.
How do I only get to the fourth one? I couldn't zoom to look past that. Ow. Whoops. Oh, Calvin will always eat it.
Okay, so this should programmatically add the avatar to the window. Then we can get it under our control and tell exactly what animations to play when the animations change.
Put in a million giddies.
Okay, so there he is. So now we're going to specifically say, give me a second here. The plan is as well to open this up to Steam Workshop so people can upload their avatars there and be able to browse the workshop in the avatar tab, and then just pick ones we'd like to include. We are working on, my daughter's sitting beside me right now and she's playing the Switch, and we're working on adding avatars to to the menu system to preview them as we do imports and see what they what the graphics look like for the artist. And we're going to probably produce a separate tool that artists can use to develop avatars without having to buy our tool.
Only 5 minutes left.
Only 5 minutes left. Only 5 minutes left. Wild. That's awful. That's horrible. So take control. Take control of me. All right, so we want to do avatar. Take control. All right. So let's see if that works before we add them to the scene. Seems like it. Okay. So that play animation and everything, we're going to have to change some of the logic so that doesn't happen automatically. Now we need to populate the animation list with is this another raid from Sean? It is another raid from Sean. Sean's turning into me. How's it going, Sean? Thanks for the raid. How's the project heading? All right, so now we need to populate the drop-down list for the avatar. Hello, one viewer. Let's single out this viewer. Project is ready to polish. Dang, dude. So you have like all the main hooks in and everything?
2, 3.
Can I bring my Polish? What do you want to translate? Seriously, let's do it. How do you play an entire album in Bandcamp? This is frustrating. Just needs graphics, sounds, and some hints scattered around. Pustak's throwing some, busting out the Polish. Definitely have to have a Polish translation for this. That's another thing we should probably... You know what? I don't even have that on the list. Don't make Devereaux invade you. All right. So, list of animations.
Candy!
It already happened 3 times. Let's look up how to handle these enums in.
Bye. How do I get this? There.
Retrieves the name of the constant in the specified enumeration type that has the specified value. So this is what we want. The particular enumerated constant. So the value of the enum and the enum type. And it should give us back a string that is the name of the enum. Okay. So if we just get a list of enum values,
Hey, Papa, do you want to finish my?
so get values should return a list of the values. What's that, Bear?
You want to finish my food?
Oh, sure. Thank you so much, sweetie. You have a good day. Rest of your day. I'll see you in a little while.
You too. I figured out a way we can play the game without you, Papa. The note passing game. We can have Grandma be the teacher, Mama and me be the note passers, and Odie be the principal.
Nice.
Now, I figured out a way to get all this to the house in one go. This.
Nice. Love you, baby.
Love you too.
Have a good day. Okay, so there's our values. Everything's a damn class. And so for each value, which appears to be we're going to say see, it won't automatically play. This is annoying. Then we use get name from animations with animation value. Get name does not exist. Get name is part of an enum class. Enum argument 1. Can I convert int into animations? There we go. Okay, so that gets us the name of the animation. So then we can use that to populate. So we have the number, the enum value, and the name. So there's already some problems with this though, because this won't work good for translations. Won't work good. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Okay, so now for option button, we're going to say choose animation and then add item, which needs a string and an ID. And so in our case, we're going to give it the string, which is this. And then the ID is the animation. So, comma, animation. And what did we do wrong? Oh, it's not going to say it as an integer. So we have to cast it as an int. Okay. So now that should create a drop down of animations that are available. Yes. Okay. So now we want to take these animations here, and when we select one, we want it to play on the avatar. And that way we can, in real time, change the avatar's skinning stuff and then play different animations and see how they all look. So the artist will be able to see what their work looks like with the stuff. Got a dash, doing the thing soon. All right, good luck. Have a good one today. And I already gave a shout out to Devereaux, but again, Devereaux, tomorrow we are going to be doing some fun stuff. Calvin, do you think you'll be good if I take you out of your chair? I figured something out with Calvin. He wants to explore. He wants things to do. So we hide his little toys around everywhere. So when he's doing his pacing, he's got something to grab. So you can go, oh, I'll take this. Thank you very much. Yeah, we did. Yes. I'm probably going to go to... I can't work with my laptop on my legs while lying. Totally uncomfortable position to do any work. Yeah, understood, Pooh. Get some rest, man. Take care of that back. Put one of those hot, cold things on it. You know what I'm talking about? They have those weird sticky things you can put on your back. That's why I'm so good at quality assurance, since I'll find even the smallest things wrong and report them. Gotcha. It's the Polish best QAs on this green earth. So I have a plan for the music for the tactics game, if we do go with like a Blade Runner theme. And I'm feeling pretty smart about it too. Where's your ball, Cal? Where's your ball? Go get it. Right there. There it is. There's your ball. Good boy. You want to play fetch? You want to play fetch? Give it. Drop it. Ready? Ready? Go get it. There's no room to play fetch in here. He's like, this is a joke, Dad. All right. So if we're doing a button up, button down, toggled, items selected. So we want items selected. So for choose animation dot item selected, and is this as simple as on the avatar? Oops. You okay, buddy? Ooh, something hurt? What's wrong? What is it, bud? Play verb, animation name, loop. Okay. So we can do this straight from the... This is pretty straightforward. So choose animation, animation selected. Avatar. Play verb. Okay, so It works. I didn't take much. Okay. Well, dang. Okay, that was pretty easy. Yay, past Matt. He was thinking ahead. This again, all of this stuff is designed to make making stuff with this easy, and I feel like that just kind of proved it. That wasn't anything. That was real straightforward, easy to do. So there's still a lot of little fine tuning to do with some of that stuff, but so right now we are working on Sprite Import GUI, which is an overall thing for the Sprite import. And this is part of it. Allow the artist to pick part of the export. You want me to throw the ball? Where's the ball? Where'd it go? What'd you do with it? What'd you do with the ball? There it is. You had it the whole time. I'm going to throw it. All right. I won't throw it then. What was that? Cal? It's all right, Calvin. Don't worry, buddy. Hey, hey. Down. Calvin, get back. No. I don't like you over there. There's too many wires. Get away. Calvin, get away from all that. Get away, Calvin. Over here. Go get it. Where's your ball, Cal? Go get the ball. Calvin. Please stop. Hey. Leave it. Good boy. Cal. No. Dude, you don't have to eat everything on the planet, I swear. You'd be better off if you didn't. Whoa! Bye. Come on. Get in here. I'm not going out. Let's go. Come on. Hey, hey! Drop it. Come on, get up on the couch. Oh my God. Cal, get out from under there. You are not allowed under here. Go. Cal, move. One bite from you of anything under there, and we won't have a stream anymore. Stop it. What app am I using for game design? My brain. Well, I'm using Godot as the engine. If that's what you mean. How's it going, T? My dog is eating my shoelace right now. And using C# to build the game? Yes. Yeah, so we're in C#. We're programming in Vim. We're using Godot engine. And yeah, right now most of the like design work is in like I keeping track of everything in Obsidian. So like recently we had designed. So I do a little bit of like, I don't know, planning and stuff like that. We recently created a system for animating with a skeleton rig. Calvin, that's my shoelace. Stop. Sorry, my dog is being a bit of a pill right now. Now he's trying to eat my foot. Cal, just sit down, buddy. Those are my pants. Okay. Oh my god. He's such a puppy. Dude, Cal. Okay. Let me talk to Mama. Let's see if she'll give you a walk, okay? That's what you want, right? You're asking for a walk? That's what you want. Yeah, okay. I understand. Ouch, Cal. Ouch. You little stool. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, it's time to calm it. Calmate. Calmate, doggy. All right, let me get him all situated. Man, he really wants to. All right, Cal. Hey, no biting. You're a puppy. Hey. Dude, not everything is a buffet. This is not a buffet. This is not a buffet. Hang on a second, guys. All right, come on down. Cal, get up on the couch and relax. Calm. Be calm. Be calm. Be calm. Here, I'm going to tuck this inside here. There you go. Good luck getting that out. We'll pull it out in like 2 seconds. Okay, I can sit. So what about T? What brings you around? You looking at stuff? Yeah. So our animation system, we have like a runtime. The runtime avatar is no bones, purely sprite driven animations, but we can animate using this is the runtime avatar, and then the animation avatar has all the bones, and we translate those animations into just sprite rotations. So this is what the animation avatar looks like for the equivalent thing. All right. Go to your room. Come on. This is if you're gonna behave like this. Go to your room. Oh, man. Then where you write your C# code. It's a little weird with Godot right now. You can't write the C# code in. They have a built-in editor, but you can't use that. So I'm writing it in Vim, which is like a terminal editing software. But you can use VS Code, you can use Visual Studio, you can use JetBrains, whatever the... My God. I'm going to have to turn the mic down for a little bit while he calms down. But I'll come back whenever questions arise or whatever. Do you have like a particular... Are you new to game development? Are you old to game development? Or you have a particular thing you're looking to make or do? Yeah, so this is kind of a weird scenario too, because it's not. It's like a chat system. I thought only C++ can make a game. You can make a game with anything. If you break down a game into a set of, I mean, the way children play games initially is there's just a set of interactions. Rule making and winning and losing usually come later. If you watch children play on the playground, they'll generally just kind of make up. They're playing Calvin ball all the time. They're constantly just changing the rules, making up the rules, creating new ways of play. So in that sense, like any language could be used to make games, but there is the real game, right? Where it's like it's on a console or it's on PC or whatever. But really, you could use any programming language to make a game if you consider the like how you would define it. But if your scope is it needs to be a disk that's burnt, you put it in the console or you download it from an app store or whatever, then yeah, the scope starts to change. C++, I think, is pretty much if you're doing real work, like engine work, making like the real things that make games. Like for instance, Godot itself is actually written in C++. The engine itself is C++. So, then yeah, I think C++ is more like where you'd want to head. C# is, in your Unity space. That's what Unity uses is C#. Godot has its own scripting language called GDScript, but it also can do C# or any sort of game. Only Gary Gygax can make games. R.I.P. Is Gary? He's long gone, right? Long gone. Yeah. One of my I think it was like the 90s or something like that, right? Speaking of Calvin ball, that's sort of like this idea I've been rolling around in my head for a long time of some sort of multiplayer game where you make up the rules as you play. Have no idea what that would actually look like, but it would be like the way that children play in the playground. If you ever watch them, it's really fascinating. You got to wear a good trench coat, good fedora, sunglasses, go to the park, watch some kids playing, record them from your cell phone. Run when the police come. But no, seriously, like that sort of play has really always been really fascinating to me. It's really interesting. But anyway, so what's going on with this thing right now is we're working on fine-tuning everything so that we can actually sell this as an application. This is actually the stream window. This is what OBS captures. So we've made a system for being able to add commands, receive commands, and use those commands to have things happen from chat. And so, like right now, if this is running, and I go and I'll put it aside here, and we send a message, our avatar appears on screen. There it is. There's me. Now, there's an issue with the display name right now. But it's like a little character that walks around. We can replace the sprites with other textures. But all the animations and everything will still work properly with it. So the system for that I can show you over here. We also have it where there's a game that you can play with it, but everything's broken right now because we're pretty deep in a refactor. But if I open up Krita here, I can show you the template for creating the characters. So this is our initial template, and you can replace the head with whatever you want. The arms, these are all individual layers, so you can do this in Photoshop or whatever. Then when you export these layers, what I'm working on right now is being able to import them in. This is what you could do with it is create a character like this. So this is an example right now that you won't be able to see this on screen. Let me move BSS up so that you can see our characters sort of walking around. Give me a second. Stop. Monitor and camera. Put the VSS up front. There we go. So now it's in front of me. But anyways, the raid from Drentsoft, thank you so much. We do a shout out to Drent. Drent's working on a jam game right now for and also thanks for the follow, T, if I didn't mention that already. We do a shout out. Shout out. Drentsoft. Drent's working on a cool I always miss the first T in shout out. I don't understand why. Working on a jam game right now with Sticks. I need to give a shout out to Sticks. I haven't shouted out Sticks in a while. Shout out Sticks. Sticks Color? Is that what it is? I was just talking to T 2203. I don't know what to say, but showing T what's going on, what we're working on. So the thing that I'm presently working on with this whole system is the way that we just T. Don't screw it up. I don't know where the game actually is right now. There it is. Okay. So if we bring up the menu, so this is the menu for the game for this system. There's a volleyball game that we have in here, but it's broken right now because we haven't translated the animations to our new system. But right now what I'm working on, and I can already see there's some sort of issue, is a way of viewing the avatar in sort of this preview window and being able to import the graphics and see what they look like with the animations and stuff. Just T. British is intensely. The British intensifies. And our avatar is falling. Okay, let me get that worked out. So anyways, this window here will show a preview of the avatar here. And then we have a drop down where we can play the different avatar animations. But for some reason the avatar is falling. Yeah. So it was working, but now he's just falling to his death. So I got to figure out why that's happening. The way I did my avatar was I used viewports. So I was mixing 2D and 3D. Yeah. So I'm using a sub viewport here. I can show you in the scene tree. So we have a sub viewport here and then a node 2D that we instantiate the avatar into. Our avatars have a system wherein they sort of are in control of themselves, like a node would be in Godot. But then if we can take control, there's a method called take control. And when you take control, then it only listens to what you tell it to do. And so we had it all working, but now we're falling. So let's take a look at what could be going on there. And that's in the settings panel. I guess we need to pick a spot for us. So avatar dot position equals vector 2 200 by 200. I don't know where to put it. Gotta say new. More garbage collection. Fantastic. Okay, we need to do a little bit of work on our avatar. I know what's going on. When we create the avatar, the very first thing it does is on ready we it sets its state to falling. And when we fall, we look for the roam space where we're going to land. So that's all avatars have that inherent in them. And in this case, it's actually looking for coordinates that's off the settings window, which we don't want. Believe it or not, we don't want that. So no, I don't believe set state is public. It is. Okay. And this is another example. This enum list, I'm looking to get rid of as many of these things out of here as possible. So for instance, random is an easy one to pull out. But for every avatar that gets instantiated, all of these things take up memory. And so we want to avoid that as much as possible. Right here, do we need a reference to animation player? No, we don't. We only need to do this whenever we're so for instance, we're registering the animation. Oops. Sorry, guys. Animation player. Okay. And then likely down here is when we play again. So same deal. So we could do the same thing here where we just grab it from the scene and then put it in here. Now we don't need a reference to it. So it only grabs it from there if we... So that should be good. Okay, so we just got rid of another... It looks like we need to indent, actually. But I'm very new to C++, so you probably know as much C++, if not more, than I do, T. I still need to talk to you, Drent, about... so here's a shout out to Styx. Styx is working with Drentsoft on the Jam game. It's a spooktacular game. I guess I can get rid of these lines here. We don't really need them right now. Might as well. I could always go back to Git if I want to look at that code. Can we flip H on herself? Flip H does not exist. How does that work with a node 2D? We could use a shader, right? I don't know. We'll have to think about that. All right, let's go back to the code here. We don't need to use create necessarily. So if we put the state change in we're set to falling only when we use the create function, then we go over to the settings panel here and we say get rid of create. If we do that, we don't need to do this. And it's interesting. I'm noticing the startup time is taking longer. Okay, so here's our character. All right, so now we can idle through, or we can go through the animations that we have. And we're gonna set this up so that first of all, we want to like scale to the window. So if the user like resizes, that everything kind of scales the way we want it. So we're gonna have to do some checks there. But besides all that, yeah, we're God, there's so much work to do, and I really don't know. I'm falling. That's like the Bill and Ted. Okay, so that's interesting because we see now. Let's look at the falling code. So interestingly now. So falling. I have no mouth. I must land. I have no ground. Exactly. Okay, so we're cooking, Drent. Is it more code will make it slow? Dude, optimization is weird. Like, I mean, you want to be careful. It's like memory. What are you doing in memory? And when you're looping, how are you looping? But computers are really weird right now. CPUs are really good about doing the same thing again and again and again. The more that you do the same thing again and again and again, the more that the faster it'll do it. And there's like weird tests you can do where you can split things out into arrays that you wouldn't have normally and iterate those. You can do all this weird stuff that you end up with like way more performant code, but the code is quote unquote unreadable or like not clean code, right? But when it comes to being compiled, it ends up being like really fast. So you just got to get good at profiling and stuff and figure out where things are slow. But oftentimes you don't know until you do something. Like for instance, when I first was doing the avatar stuff, I was spawning, I'd get to about 120 avatars and the FPS, we'd lose FPS it would drop under 60. So it's like, okay, well, what the hell's going on here? And then when we investigated it, it was clear that if you look at it, the running process, it's like, well, your CPU is pegged at 100. So now your GPU is waiting on your CPU, right? There's no more frames to draw because the CPU hasn't given the GPU anything to do. So it's like, okay, well, what's causing that? So you start looking around. I mean, for instance, in Godot, your friend is going to be the debugger, so when you're running your code, you can go over to these profiles here. You can run these tools and look at on your frame time, like what in your code is literally causing the long frame times, right? You can monitor your performance of different things like your memory, the amount of nodes you have on screen, and objects. My object count gets pretty high because we're in C#. Everything's garbage collected, so you end up with like a lot of objects just kind of chilling out. It's kind of annoying. You can already see this happening. Why is it building up? I don't know. I don't know, but we're getting that sawtooth effect of a garbage collection. But like if we were to turn on these tools here, we could instantiate a bunch of avatars on the screen at a given moment. Although right now they don't appear to be picking a spot to land in. So let's see if we can't change that up. Okay, so there's their legs up at the top. Why aren't they falling? Do you have a particular game you want to make? Is there like something you want to, like a dream game? No. I'd recommend trying doing game jams to start with. You're in more web or system. Yeah. I started out in web. Built a lot of bad habits. Game development's fun, dude. I recommend it. It looks like we do need this on the outside. No. This is happening before we instantiate. So it's gonna look for a bunch of variables that aren't there. It's not in the scene system, so okay. All right, so that's what's going on. How do we set it up so that we don't? If we're a packed scene, because we can't do something like this, can we? Can we do an initializer? Public. I don't even know how to do an initializer in. He's over in his crate because he was being crazy. Initializer in C# is the name of the class, right? So in this case, it would be avatar. So if we did like avatar here, and we don't want void. There we go. So that's the initializer. And then we say, see, this is another. So if control is enabled, then we fall. Set state to falling. All right. That seems good. There we go. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, where we can spawn like mini avatars now. But initially we were seeing low numbers of we could only get about 120 on here before we dip down to 60 frames a second. But now we can get about 1,000 or 1,000 or so. It's still not good. There's still a bunch of things we can do to make the performance better. But every little bit, we're going to squeeze every little bit out that we can. I do have this wild idea of being able to completely remove the animation player from the avatar itself, so that that's not needed. And then we have a global animation player that literally is, each track is every single avatar that's on the screen. And then we're just constantly in real time saying, we're playing an infinite plane of animations, and then we just add whenever it's like, okay, now play this animation on this avatar. It just plops it in as it's playing. I just don't know if that's I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Yeah. Proton. How's it going? Let's do a shout out to Proton. Proton, very talented, is working on programs in C6502 assembly for the Commodore 64. So it's insane. Just did a massive refactor. You chopped off like 2,000, 3,000 lines of code in assembly, in the refactor, compiled, worked the first time. I don't know if that part's true. I know the line count. I'm close on the line count. So let's see if that works for the menu now too. Since we take control at the start, it should just spawn in the menu where we want it. Okay, cool. So now we can kind of adjust that a little bit for the time being. Scoot it down. So on the Y, we'll go 200. And the X, we can probably go 200 on the X too. 6,000 lines refactored, almost 3,000 lines removed, almost exactly 3,000 lines removed, and it's working again. Nice. I mean, and that's the thing. Assembly, so we were talking about performance with T earlier. In assembly, it's probably true. It would seem to me that in assembly, the fewer lines you have, the more performant the code, but that's not necessarily true. Again, it just depends on how are you getting things, how are you setting things. Like, it's the same kind of problems. Like, ultimately, it becomes assembly, right? And it just becomes a set of computer instructions or CPU instructions, like instructions for the processor. Relocated and relabeled. Nice. So, like, how the CPU processes those instructions, but obviously if you're asking it to do something a certain number of steps from 5 to 1, you want to do the 1. Okay, so there's our avatar. So now we can preview the avatar, choose the different animations. And now what we need to do is we need kind of two options here. The easiest option for the end user who doesn't know what they're doing is to drag and drop the sprites somewhere on here, like the representations of each arm element and everything. And then we replace those appendages with that sprite. To me, the most effective thing to do is to just say, hey, we're going to hot reload. You give us a directory, and whatever you put in there, we're going to hot reload it for everything else. So that's what we're going to shoot for. Executes them just like I wrote them. Yeah. So everything's a step. So if you can do things without a loop, you know, probably better. If it's like fewer steps overall. That's the weird thing, man. That's got to be weird. Because it's like, even then, I don't know in assembly like how that works. Is like, it's interesting. Does every line of assembly equal one instruction? I don't think so, because you have things like pointers and stuff, right? So when you're doing like a pointer, that's really memory location. So that's not technically, how does that even, dude, I'm so interested in, I'm curious about learning that stuff. I wonder if you have any good resources for 6502. But you've been doing it for so long, you're just like, open up the Commodore manual, dude. Just look in there. All the, I have an Apple II. In the 90s, I was getting into programming. That's when I started doing BASIC and everything. And my Apple II manual, it's supposed to have like a whole assembly like instructions thing, but mine did not include anything like that. I have all the old manuals. I could go grab them. They're in really good condition. There's like no yellowing on them or whatever. They're flawless. All right, let's build the interface for, so we have this play animation drop down. We need some sort of choice between Red Cabin. My God, thank you for the raid. Shout out, Red Cabin Games. I don't think I've ever talked to Red Cabin. It's raid and run. I'm kidding. It's going good. How's your stuff going? You were for Dice? That's cool. I'm reading your about page. Dice has a There's a podcast I listen to from them, I think. Maybe I'm having a stroke. We did. Long time ago. I keep refactoring and breaking things and then changing things and breaking them and so on and so forth. Yes. No. I'm remembering now. You have the Switch games, right? Making progress. Nice. Same here. I don't know. I think you've rated me recently, but we've got a new system for our avatars where we can animate them using the kinematics and a skeleton, and then we're translating that into a runtime avatar that's boneless that just does it on origin points on sprites with rotation values. Full indie since July now. Awesome. Not too recently, but a few times before. Yeah. Yeah, so we've got the new system for the animations. So that allows us this allows us to, we were trying to think about like how do we differentiate ourselves from something like a stream avatars if we're going to have characters on the screen and action, them performing actions and all this stuff. And one of the biggest hurdles I was trying to cope with, being that I'm not an artist, is how do we do animations? Because the more animations I can add into this thing, the more we can do. But I started thinking about, like, from a pixel art standpoint, it's up to the artist to supply things that will do the animations. But then I started thinking, if we did bones, then we can keyframe the animations. We just need, like, set sizes. And then we can swap out the skeletons with whatever. It is a Godot animation thing, but it's of my own design. I definitely got some help from like a Godot expert as far as like how to do it in an even cleaner way. But yeah, so what we can do with this is we can go and like if I turn on the kinematics, let's see. We can key on our different points here. So we just basically, it's showing my face. Stop showing my face. Here we go. So we can key the animations just like you would expect. So you have the different endpoints for like the arms and everything like that. We can key these animations and then we bake them into a runtime animation set that is just the sprite rotations, right? And then the nice thing about that, so we completely eliminate the skeletal system. So we went from only having about 120, we could, on my machine, we could do about 120 avatars before we started to dip into 60 frames, which was really bad. But doing it this way, we can get about 1,200. When 4 right now does not support batch draws in 2D, but when that happens, it'll be even bigger. Because if you consider each avatar is actually made up of, 8 individual sprites, technically. So the minute we get batch draws in, technically, it should be feasible to do it all in a single draw per frame. And once that happens, then sky's the limits. Is it 10? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You're right, it's 10. But we're good enough for what we need for now. And this allows us, so then we bake the animations at 60 frames a second and we get rid of interpolation. And so by doing that, by getting rid of the skeletons and baking the animations, now suddenly we get like way better performance on the CPU side, because we were CPU bound for a long time. The other thing that we don't presently have is we are still going to tween between animations, but we just don't want to tween all the time, every frame for every single avatar. So I don't have the system in place to do that just yet, but essentially what it's going to do is build up some pseudo animations between the ending animation point and the next one, and it'll just say, okay, between these frames, how do we interpolate the arm to reach down to here or whatever. So the beauty of this, the trick of it all, is the scene structure and the inheritance of our sprites in the scene tree is done in such a way where all we need is the rotation values, right? So, and these key ones here, you can see we have a ton of like position. We don't need any of these position values. So those will go away eventually as well. But I have to create a system for automatically doing the baking and the setting up the artist animations and baking them into like runtime animations. I don't have any of that done just yet. So I have to do it by hand, and the fastest way ends up with a bunch of extra stuff we don't actually need. So all we really need positionally speaking is the torso, and then everything else we can get rid of. So you'll notice the animations are snapping between different animation types. They'll kind of jerk because we don't have the in between set up. We don't have the transition stuff going. So what that ends up looking like is when we replace the sprites with something, we can get an avatar that looks something like this, right? And this was something that viewer's sister actually was able to make when I gave him this template. This template here. Oops, that's not it. That's the actual thing. So the little skeleton, the little poser that I have here. You can replace any of these with any kind of design you want, so long as they meet the hinge points, which I haven't put in the skeleton. I need to add those. But then you end up with something like this, and with this you can do your different animations and stuff as well. Unfortunately, right now everything's broken because I'm in the middle of making this true process of being able to, as a streamer, being able to import this art and these assets into the program itself and not doing it, manually, like from the dev side. So I'm building all the tooling and everything necessary to make that happen. So that's what's going on. So what I was talking about a few minutes ago was the idea that we would have a window in the settings here. This is like the settings window. And I think I'm going to work on hot reloading first. So essentially we'll have some sort of option to say hot reload the images at a specified directory. And then so long as the images are exported in a certain way, then we'll just swap out any changes into this preview avatar. And then we have a list of our animations that we can test. You'll see it's doing the no in-betweens when it loops. But we'll have the animations that you can test and see how your sprite actually looks with the different animations that the system will have. The ultimate plan is to have this entire system in place and then have a Lua backend where people will be able to script their own games, streaming games with this. And the Lua system will allow you to add commands and then whatever logic and graphics and stuff you want to throw in to be able to use the massive set of animation verbs and possibly even allow you to create your own. Because again, all we have to do is store rotation points to things we know what they are. So it should be possible, if you're a developer making something in this system, to bake or create your own animations that could be grabbed and use the same avatars. Sky's the limit once that happens. Then I don't have to do anything. Everyone will make the stuff for me, right? But then we'll have like Steam Workshop. You can download the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Let me see. There's some assembly that Proton sent. Lua, Mariano says, bad idea. Well, how would we do it so that we can expose the system so that people could add their own calls and make their own games and stuff? Is there a way that we could make it so they could do it in like GDScript? Lua's pretty bad, I know. It's the only one that I know that like makes it easy to put like hooks in to another language. So that's why. And so that might be my ignorance. So this is Proton's giving us an example of scrolling in assembly. An example, you want to allow extending the project, just use GDScript and Godot. Never used it, but that's what I've heard too. Lua is very common for mods and everything. Yeah, I've already messed around with it. It's incredibly simple to hook, like with my C#, to add the Lua hooks. It's very simple. But I know that Lua as a language is kind of, it's a little mind-boggling to wrap your head around. But South America, Mariano, where's your continental pride? Pick your poison. I mean, if it's possible to do it in GDScript, my concern about GDScript is I can't protect. You can, at that point you can call anything, and I want to extremely limit what could be called, so that I can still pass like Twitch's TOS and eventually YouTube's and all this stuff. I want to make sure that somebody also can't use my auth system for malicious ends. So I have to somehow protect the creation of code so that it's only exposed to a very limited set of things. Kind of like when Apple first released the iPhone and it was like, okay, we have to be really careful about how people do this because we're on the carrier's network and the carrier's concerned about all this security stuff. But that would be far away. That would be far away. The proof of concept would be like, so this is the stuff here where I'm like, what the hell's going on? So these those aren't lines. So these are these are addresses. STA is an instruction. 6502. STA. Set.